What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking after for the future. I'm going to break down what you should be watching for Tesla as well going forward and what the market is telling us now. Before I break anything down, before I get into any details, I have to mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, whether it's $1 or $100, it's up to you. You're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is any can be a free Tesla share. It's a limited time offer. Offer ends in just 2 weeks. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So I do apologize, guys. I may be like coughing and stuttering a lot in this video. I'm actually fighting a cold right now, and I'm going to make these videos a lot shorter, at least for the time being. I'm hoping that I'm going to feel a lot better over the next couple of days, so things should go back to normal. But until then, I'm going to make these videos a lot shorter and just try to make things very brief and blunt. So when we look at Tesla, this thing did end up getting a drop, and this potential inverse head and shoulders like formation did not play out, even though it looked like the market wanted to bounce. Now, what's interesting is SPY also continued to bleed. It did end up gapping down again. So there is potential for us to see something similar going forward. However, we're at a very critical level on SPY, because on SPY, the first thing is we have 380 as our demand zone, between 380 and like 382. So between this zone right here, it's a demand zone. And we have actually seen SPY bounce here or bounce off of here in the past. Now, what else is worth noting is the fact that in the market, we also have a gap on SPY down in the 370s. So it is also possible for us to come down and fill the gap, before bouncing. But what I believe is likely going to happen for going into like next week is a bit of a bounce in the market. And I say this because if you look at SPY, it's very oversold right now, right? And we tend to actually see bounces in the markets after we see many red days in a row. Let me give you some examples. Like right here in January, we had 1, 2 kind of big red days, bit of a bounce after that. And then right here, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 red days like this. We come down pretty hard, then we get a bounce, and then we start pushing up a little bit before the continuation down. Excuse me, sorry. And then we also had this in February, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 red days, a bit of a bounce, and then we pushed up, right? And our bottom was like 404, the top was like 434. That's a nice bounce example. Right here, we had a bit of a sell-off that actually was pretty choppy for a couple of days. It was not like a very big amount of red candles. We kind of chopped here, hitting our bottom at 430, push up to about 444 before we continue to come down, right? This is what tends to happen. And then look at what happened back in June. That's when the market dropped really hard off the CPI report and the FOMC meeting, the Fed being more hawkish and things like that. Look at this. We had kind of like a sideways day. Then we had 1, 2, 3 huge red days in a row on SPY. SPY went from 406 all the way to about 368 in just a couple of days. And then what happened was we got a bounce from our low of 365 all the way up to about 378, came down, and then we bounced and started to push up, approaching the month of August. And then in August, look at what happened when we started dropping really hard. We had basically 3 red days in a row, 2 of them being pretty extreme right here. The third one comes, and we have an indecision candle right here. Then we bounce. SPY bounced from 408 all the way up to 415. And then we continued to bleed, right? We had like 3, 4 choppy red days here. Nice bounce after before the continuation. And it's quite clear when we have at least around like 4 or so red days in a row, the market tends to actually get a reaction to the opposite end. So looking at this, I mean, we went from 410 all the way down to 381 in just 4 days. It's quite clear that there should be a bounce, right? And on the 15 minutes, I actually drew out this trend line, which we actually ended up breaking out of. So that's a pretty decent sign. Now, what I believe is likely to happen are 2 possibilities. Possibility number 1 is maybe we come down one last time to fill that gap in the 370s, then we get a big bounce off of it, and we see SPY continue to fill these gaps to like the 390s, and maybe go all the way up very close to the 200 EMA, which is where the resistance is below this gap. That's going to be 395 on SPY. That's very possible. And then what's going to happen is we're not going to like explode back to 400. We're not going to hit like 400 instantly or some like crazy high number. What I think is more likely to happen is we push up 390, maybe 395, and then we get another big rejection, which is confirming, it's just more confirmation of us making those lower highs. And that could be a very good put or short entry position. Now, if the market starts pushing, just look at this on the daily. All right, SPY looks like this on the daily. 4 major red days in a row. Looking at Tesla, sorry, looking at Tesla, we had 1, 2, 3. This is basically, Tesla started selling off a little bit early, but very similar, right? The past 5 days on Tesla were lots of selling. Tesla went from 176 all the way down to 150. Obviously, it's in the demand zone, so I'm hoping for a reaction to the other side. Now, Tesla has historically bounced off 148 in the past as well. So there are 2 things I'm going to be watching for Tesla. If the market truly is going to bounce a bit, which I think is very likely, Tesla should see a bit of a bounce. The only problem with Tesla, though, is like, what if Elon Musk sells more? And that's something I can't really account for. I can't promise you that he will or he won't. So you have to be very cautious. But if Tesla does follow the market finally, the trend of Tesla, there's a good chance some more buyers will step in to defend their positions. If SPY falls down to fill its gap, I could see Tesla maybe touching like 148 and then seeing a big reaction. And then if SPY gets the big bounce, the push to about 390 to 395 as the last major piece of upside before the big drop comes, in my honest opinion, Tesla has potential to push back to 155. If it does break and hold 155, we could see this thing hit the 160s, right? A nice bounce on Tesla. Very, very possible. And that's what I'm essentially going to hope for. That's what I believe is likely to happen. I will go into a little bit more detail about this later, but that's what I essentially have for this video. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for listening. Please have an absolutely incredible weekend. I know we have the World Cup final coming up in just a couple of days. It's very exciting. Also, the 3rd place match should be tomorrow. So please, guys, take care, stay safe. I know a lot of people are getting sick during this time of year. So do what's best for your own selves. And please, please, please don't overdo it. So thank you. Have a great weekend. Tesla to the moon, because the long-term future is still incredibly bright. And peace out.